lot of people look at us as robots who are just out doing a job, but everything we see and do affects us just like it does everybody else.
A lot of problems with first responders and veterans is that now we're in a battlefield that's very different.
I've lost more friends to suicide than I did in combat, and it really hurts.
When you push the human envelope to those maximum extents, physically, psychologically, emotionally, and spiritually, and then you pull that plug, nothing prepares you for the silence. Nothing prepares you for that void.
You can't come that close to death without it having some effect on you.
I'll never forget my wife telling me, you know, you're not the same Brett that I married.
What War Horses does is it puts you in that environment to, in essence, look in the mirror. But that mirror's that horse. And that horse is going to tell you where you're at.
You got to relax. You got to calm down. You got to slow your mind down and just think about this one thing, controlling that horse.
The first thing we do before we get on a horse, we breathe. Let go of everything. Let go of everything in your head. If I don't let go of everything, I cannot be present with the horse.
It's magic. I just started crying. It was the first time in my life that I literally let everything go.
Compassion, generosity, love, all of these things trickle back into what it is to be a human being.
It's completely changed me.
All the confidence I had lost, it started coming back working with these horses. They've given me my life back.
Everything stated on WTF Nation Radio is to be considered the opinion of the person that stated it, and not an official representation of WTF Nation Radio or U.S. Army WTF Moments.
Price does not include tax, title, or license. Some assembly required. Each item sold separately. Batteries not included. Objects in mirror are closer than they appear. If conditions persist, contact a physician. Individual results may vary. Keep out of the reach of children. Avoid prolonged exposure to direct sunlight. Keep in a cool, dark place. And
please enjoy the show. Shots.
I don't know shit about fuck.
All right, I guess the third time is the charm tonight here on WTF Nation Radio. My goodness. It's almost like it's Friday the 13th and things are just going wrong. But hey, I think we got it all figured out. Welcome, everybody. Sorry for the little bit of a delay. My name is Koz, and up there is Pooky. And this is WTF Nation Radio's presentation of Friday Night Freedom. On this Friday the 13th, January 13th, 2023. So now that we're in 23, have you written down or taken notice of all the times you wrote the year down incorrectly?
I haven't done that yet.
I can proudly say I haven't. I mean, I've done a lot of testing and documents that I've had to sign, and so far I'm doing pretty good. I think it's because Spanky, and I should have captured this, but Spanky posted a meme, and it's just like it has like 202, and it's like 2, and then you gotta drag it down a little bit and kind of make it into a 3. I haven't had to do that yet, so that's cool. How's everybody doing, man? This is a good Friday. God, I love Texas weather, but man, the lady is a little bit moody. It was 85 or 87 degrees the other day, and now like today's a high of 80 or a 55. I went to bed last night. It was like 70 degrees. Woke up this morning and it was 32. So I have no idea what's going on. I'm sitting here. See, I don't know what to do. I'm wearing a hoodie, but if I stood up right now, I'm wearing a pair of shorts. So I'm kind of prepared. I'm prepared for whatever. Hey, what's up, Wolfie? What's going on, brother? Haven't seen you in a while. Good to see you. Thank you for stopping by, dude. Brendan said, surfed today in North Carolina. Waves were dope. That's awesome, dude. I tried.
That water was cold as shit, man.
I tried to learn how to surf twice. Once was down on the Gulf of Mexico, and that was worthless because the waves are shit down there. The second time I tried to learn how to surf, it was at Myrtle Beach, We had.
That's a bad place to learn to surf.
I was at Fort Gordon for AIT, and we had a long weekend. I think it was July 4th weekend.
And we chose Myrtle Beach of all the places.
Yeah. Okay, tourist. And,
tourists, stay away.
and I try, you rent the board. It was like $10 an hour or whatever. I took the board out for a little bit. Do you want a lesson? No, I don't want a lesson. I just want to play around. So I played around for a little bit, decided that that's probably not the sport for me.
I could never pin it down. I could snowboard, but surfing on the other hand, I just like skateboard, snowboard, but surfing, I just could not wrap my brain around it.
I can skateboard. I had a hard time picking up snowboard too, but I did that when I was much older. I did this probably 2005-ish, 2006-ish. So I was probably 40.
Oh, someone mentioned it. I gotta.
You are in the bubble. You are in the bubble. But we got a surprise for you later in the show, or whenever Pooky does his story. Because we're kind of. I was prepared to do a show tonight because we had a guest, and our guest is not going to be here tonight because something came up. Life happens, and that's completely fine. Our guest is going to reschedule. So John Barton from the Warfighter Group is going to be on at a different time. We got to work that out. And they're a fantastic organization, man. Really, really fantastic organization. They so here's what I was going to read, and I'm going to probably read it the next time that he comes on. John Barton from the Warfighter Group was supposed to be joining us tonight, but he's not. John is the CEO and head brewmaster at Warfighter Brewing. Warfighter Brewing is an award-winning custom small batch craft beer brewery operated by veterans dedicated to fighting the war on veteran unemployment. John will tell us all about that and more, because the Warfighter Group doesn't just do brewing. They do a bunch of cool stuff, dude. They do a bunch of they're base stationed. They're based out of California, so they're kind of close to Hollywood. So they do movie studio type stuff, live shoot type stuff. They do they rent weapons to movie companies, provide safety training, uniforms. They do all kinds of really cool shit. So just go and check them out, man. Just look up the Warfighter Group on the Googleizer, and you'll see all the cool stuff that they do. So John will be on at a different time, but not tonight. That's cool. You got me and Pooky here. Dude, I think you look good in a bubble, man. I don't think, you fill it well. You look good. You look good.
90% of it's my beard, man.
It is. It's the beard, the hat, and the headphones, man. I think it's good. So welcome, everybody.
I have no problem with
it. What a crazy dude. What is up with this week? What is up with this week? I think the lead headline
this month, man.
Elizabeth says you have a good beard to bubble ratio.
Yeah, it's good. 70%. Yeah.
70-30.
Yeah.
So this week, whatever. I mean, we're 2 weeks into the year, and it's this last week. This last week has just been. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's something in the universe that's just messed up, because I woke up this week. This is my first full week back at work, but I woke up this week kind of feeling different, like a different person, not sick or not, I don't even know how to explain it, but something was changed. I mean, it's for the better. I made a decision, and that this is, I'm going to say it's because of my stepmom. Things are weird when my stepmom takes me shopping and says, "What size shirt do you wear?" I said, "Just get double XL, because I wash everything in the same water and everything. So whatever you're going to buy, whatever's new is going to shrink, and if it shrinks, it's going to shrink, and it's going to fit fine." So she took me aside over Christmas, and she goes, "It wouldn't hurt you if you lost a few pounds." I'm like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" And I took it personally, but I know she's my stepmom. She loves me. It's fine. I tell myself it's fine, but in the back of my head, it's just been bothering me. So I'm like, okay, she's right. So let's see what I can do about that. I'm not going to punish myself or torture myself to lose a few pounds, but I did make some conscious decisions. I'm going to eat healthier, less processed foods. Never hurt anybody.
That's a good one. Good.
Never hurt anybody. So for lunches for this entire week, it's been salad, which is fine. Salad, and it's a julienne salad, so I'll cut up like ham or turkey or something in there. But it's a lot of fresh vegetables, a bunch of fresh fruits and stuff. So
a lot of salad.
For dinner, instead of going out, what I usually do is I'll stop by like a Subway or something like that to get a sandwich. Or we have not Quiznos. I haven't seen an open Quiznos in a long time.
I think Quiznos is shut down permanently. Actually,
that's a bummer, man. I like their chicken carbonara. But I would get something less sandwich-y. So I cut out bread. I don't eat a lot of sweets anyway, so it's really good that the holidays are over because at work I work in a lab with a bunch of people, so they'll make just a bunch of food.
Peanut brittle, cookies, you just everything's just showing up.
You name it, dude. You name it, and it's delicious. It's absolutely wonderful. But even on the off season, we have a lot of our software folks that will bring a 5-pound bag of candy, throw it in the freezer, and just munch on it all day. So
there's that one person in the office that has that bowl of candy just chilling that you just have to sneak by and steal a piece,
So I'm making a conscious decision to say no to that stuff and make all my food at home. I did have a cheat. I don't even call it a cheat day. It was a different day. I took bread out. I haven't had any bread all week except for today, and it was because I had pizza crust. Because there was a pizza attached to it. So that's fine. But you're supposed to, this guidance that I have, you're supposed to cut out milk. I love milk. That's hard.
Milk's good for you. Cheese is good for you.
Yeah. But I've been doing really good. I'm kind of proud of myself. This is pretty cool. I've never consciously tried to modify my diet in any way, shape, or form. So, it's cool. It's cool. I haven't weighed myself. I weighed myself at the beginning, right after I got home. Right after it stuck in my head so much. I was like, where's my scale? I'm going to weigh myself. And I put myself on the scale. And I'm like, all right, let me take off some clothes. Let me see what I really weigh. So, yeah, I could stand to lose a few pounds. And that'll make me healthier. That'll do good things. It's not going to do a bad thing. So I'm kind of motivated to do that.
The lightest I've been since I first joined the Army, I think. I've been losing weight like crazy.
See, when I got out, the thing is, when I got out, I got out in '96 and I weighed 189 pounds, and now I'm into the low 200s, and 225 is what I weighed in at. I'm like, oh, damn. So it's. Elizabeth's talking about triglycerides and stuff. Every time I go to the VA for an appointment, they're like, okay, you got to do blood work. So they'll
triglycerides.
They'll do.
Mine are always high too.
They'll do the urinalysis and the blood work and stuff. And the doc's always like, you got really great cholesterol. I'm like, okay.
Mine are so high that they said we can't even get a cholesterol reading. That's what the doctor told us. Like, is that even possible?
It's funny. It's funny you mentioned that because my very first VA appointment, I did the blood work, and they're like, we're going to work with the readings that are provided, but we're going to send you back to the blood lab because I think there's a mistake. I think something went wrong here because my levels were so low. So I'm blessed with good genes, I suppose. CQ says, drink more water and get more sleep. I wish I could.
Yeah.
I do drink a fair amount of water.
Throughout the day, I'm drinking water nonstop, man.
Sleep evades me. It's not that I evade sleep. I don't stay up and game or do anything like that. I do go to bed at a really good hour. Usually, during the week, I do get up early. So I do go to bed at like 8:30, 9 o'clock. You know, it seems old manish, but I'm up at 3 o'clock in the morning to go to work. So
Yeah, that's normal.
but the problem with my sleep is I will fall asleep almost immediately. Almost immediately.
And then wake up.
And then I'll wake up like an hour and a half later and be like,
Be wide awake.
and feel like I slept all night long. And then it'll take
Same, I got this.
it'll take like an hour or two for me to fall back asleep. And then it's like,
Staring at the ceiling, I'm like, oh.
and it's the same game over and over and over again. You fall asleep for an hour and a half.
Melatonin. Gotta get that melatonin. Man.
Melatonin didn't do it. It originally did it for me. It was okay. Even when I was in Iraq, I was on shift work, so I was working nights and I was sleeping during the day. So the melatonin helped out. But I mean, when it's dark outside, your circadian rhythms are supposed to, turn your body into I'm going to go to sleep now. But even taking melatonin, I was taking the 5 milligram gummies, and then I was taking the 10 milligram gummies, and then I was taking 2 10 milligram gummies.
Oh, you start getting dependent on that.
Or there was some kind of tolerance build up. So I wasn't really happy with the results of that. So I don't take anything. I don't take anything. I lay in bed, I fall asleep, and I deal with. I wake up in an hour and a half, because I'll lay there and I'll go to sleep. And then I'll kind of roll around and I'll be awake and I'm like, I feel really good. And then I try to guess what time it is. And I'm like, boy, it feels like it should be about 2 o'clock in the morning. It feels like, I should maybe sleep for another hour and I'll be good to go. And I roll over and it's like, fuck, it's like 10:30. It's 2 hours after I went to bed.
It sucks.
Prebiotic and probiotic are awesome for gut health. Angie Pfeiffer, thank you.
What's also good for gut health is eating raw meat.
Raw meat. Maybe with my diet change, my sleep patterns will change. I'm going to give that a while to kind of work in. It's got to become
another thing too. Blue light. Blue light is a big thing. A lot of people throw out stimulate something, dopamine. I don't know the actual science behind it, but with my PC. Most Windows systems now, they have an ability to kill red light after, especially when I'm doing a show, it messes me up. Because at 9 o'clock, I have it set to switch throws a blue light filter on, so all the colors changed. I'm like, what the fuck? But
my monitor's going out.
You eliminate that blue light out of your life. Like a lot of people, the cell phones are notorious for it. Cell phones are notorious for it. You're just dosing yourself with blue light. Huh?
Yeah, I've got my phone nearby just because that's where my alarm clock is. But my phone's in the charger and it's pointed away from my bed. So I don't think that's it. I got blackout curtains. There's light is not an issue because there's no light in there.
So I sleep better when it's daytime than I do at night.
I sleep better when I'm not supposed to be sleeping.
Exactly. You put the Weather Channel on, and I'm out cold.
So you and I both have had jobs in the military. I've got a job, out of the military even that has me handling classified information.
Oh yeah.
Never once. Not even. Not even. And this is, when I joined the Army, dude, it was like 88. Got into after AIT. Got into my job at like 89, first duty station, and had the security clearance and just had the classified TMs and stuff to fix the stuff that I was supposed to fix. I've never ever been tempted or never wanted to or never had it on the list of things to take classified crap back to the barracks or even back to my house or whatever. So the big thing this week is President Biden got busted. His Biden think tank, they found.
Oh, he just took it home. He just took it home.
Found some classified information documents inside the think tank, which is not a government office. It's an office.
It's not a skiff.
No, it's not. And then that kind of blew over. It was a non-thing. It was a non-issue, I guess. It wasn't a non-issue. It obviously is an issue, but it was kind of panned by the media. And then more documents were discovered in his garage in his house in Delaware, which is weird.
And his Corvette.
Next to his Corvette. But oh gosh, I guess we can go through the story, man. President Joe Biden answered a question about mishandling classified information during a joint press conference with Mexican President Andrés Obrador and Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau of Mexico City on Tuesday night. This has happened on Tuesday. Previously, he had ignored a number of inquiries from the White House press corps. Dude, they were shouting questions at him.
And, that was nuts.
And he was like, ignore. If I don't make eye contact, they don't exist. He just
stay still. They can't see me.
Reading directly from a script, President Biden answers a question about taking and keeping classified information from his time as vice president. He says, quote, "People know I take classified documents and classified information seriously." Then the memes started flying because it was a picture of President Biden, and it says, "People know I take classified documents." And that's where it stopped. They didn't finish the sentence. Despite Biden's claims, he says he takes the handling of classified information seriously. The facts of the situation show otherwise. Many questions remain about why sensitive documents were housed at his unsecured think tank office. George Washington University professor Jonathan Turley is calling out the hypocrisy of the entire situation, explaining why Biden may have had the documents. Further reporting shows that the classified documents included information about Ukraine during the time Hunter Biden sat on the board of Burisma, a notoriously corrupt Ukrainian company that paid him as much as $80,000 a month. A month, dude. $80,000 a month.
Dude, I wish I could get that for a year. Just a year. Give me this 80,000. Fucking awesome.
I would definitely be happy with that. But yeah, I mean, just $80,000 a month to do basically nothing. So, but the longer you look at this entire situation, the worse it gets, because another batch of classified documents were found in his house in Delaware, in the garage, next to his Corvette. President Biden attempted to minimize the situation by saying the garage was locked.
Oh, that would have totally worked for me when I was working at a skiff. Oh no, it was locked. It's good. It's good to go.
So why didn't President Trump say something? Well, you know, my house was locked, and then the media would have just said, "Oh, okay, cool, no problem, Don." Representative Hank Johnson, Democrat from Georgia, suggested that the documents were planted. But he provided absolutely no proof. He's the same guy that says that Guam's going to tip over if we put more troops on it. So.
Oh, I forgot about that guy. Now that you mentioned that, it's like boom, flat. I'm like, oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's a really familiar name. So here's the deal. I think that the presence of these documents in a think tank in Biden's garage needs to be investigated, just like the classified documents at Mar-a-Lago with Donald Trump. There is no reason for either of them to have any classified documents. If you need them, there are procedures to view them outside the office. Follow the procedures. They're there for a reason. Am I incorrect? Is that an incorrect statement?
I mean, I don't think the vice president has the ability to do what he wants with classified documents. So I'm just saying. I mean, Trump was president, and he could declassify anything the fuck he wants to. So, I mean, I don't know if you can see my camera right now.
Mental gymnastics, visual. No, I don't think. I mean, he
didn't hide anything. He failed to return them. It's a huge difference. You like what?
Oh my
You can't
gosh!
make
Oh,
this shit up
they're
anymore.
are they trying to? I mean, they're further trying to explain it away.
They're explaining it away, but in my eyes, it's just exactly that. I didn't steal the car, just failed to return it after borrowing it.
You know?
These people, I swear.
I'm gonna use that next time. see how that pans out.
I robbed the bank, but I returned all the money. There's a big difference behind that, you know. A crime is a crime is a crime. You know, like Trump should be investigated, 100%.
It's just the
Biden should be investigated.
It's the nature. I think it's the nature of the documents that they found. You know, stuff actually. It's not subpoenaed documents. I don't know exactly if they when they're doing the when councils are doing the investigations, if they have to submit specific documents or if they just kind of throw an umbrella. You know, they put everything under umbrella and just say everything dealing with Burisma from this year to that year. That becomes property of the court. The court needs those documents, and if they're found in President Biden's garage, that's a problem. That's a real problem.
Sad part about it is, from what I understand, is that his son had access to said garage.
He did.
Who did not have a clearance to access said documents. So
I don't know, man. If I divulged, I mean, we have conversations in the lab, but you know, you're not allowed in unless you're cleared. But then, if you're not working on that specific part of the program or whatever, even though you have clearance, you don't sit down and consume this information. You're not invited. It's go away.
I worked in a skiff for a while, and we had different badge clearances and stuff like that. And we had the red badge, which was someone who was not cleared to be in the area, but it was like pretty much a visitors kind of thing. And they had to be escorted by 2 people anywhere they went. And this one person would go ahead and scream red badge, and everyone would shut their shit down and cover everything up. You know, like the little top secret things you've seen at the Mar-a-Lago thing, you know, those little cover sheets, you know, boop, 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 boop. Everything's getting covered up. Everything's getting shut down. And then there's the person following saying the same thing, red badge, because sometimes someone would need to speak to a colonel somewhere and they didn't have clearance, but they get guided through to talk to the colonel or whatever. That's how it works. You don't just willy-nilly go walk it. If I tried to walk out of any paper out of the skiff I was working in, I would have had the MPs beating my ass. As simple as that. I made a mistake one time. I walked into the skiff with my cell phone and it beeped, and they snatched the cell phone away from me, searched through the whole thing, and then wiped it. It took me almost 2 weeks to get my phone back.
They have to sanitize it. We have a lab that's nothing that has memory capability can go in, but it can never leave unless it's properly sanitized, and that means wiped.
I mean, radios. If you want to listen to the radio in the skiff, it has to be like this. It can only receive data. It cannot hold data like an old school radio.
Yep. It's serious business, man. It really is serious business. I don't know what the hell that graphic is.
I mean,
we're gonna get to it.
You could take it back even further. I don't know if you remember back in I think it was 2015, 2016, that young Navy submariner that, for some dumbass reason, he was taking pictures. He wound up getting sentenced to jail time for taking a picture on a submarine.
That'll do it.
It'll send you away. But I mean, it's like rules for thee and not for me at that point, because at around the same time, Hillary Clinton was getting caught up with a private top secret email server in her house that was not a skiff. It was not a secured area. And I don't know. I could go all day about this shit. No.
It's amazing how different. I mean, the first time I got a clearance as a civilian was 99 ? Maybe 2000. And that was easy. You fill out the form. Authorization is
getting a clearance is easy.
It was determined. The thing is,
if you're a decent fucking person,
it was determined. Well, clearances cost money, but if you're working on a DoD program, DoD pays for it. but you have to authorize the need for a clearance. So, I was working on the CV-22 at the time, so of course I was granted a clearance, and that all kind of went well. It was a thorough investigation. My old platoon sergeant, I used him as a reference, and he lives, it's like P.O. Box, blah, 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 blah. So I got called by the investigator, and they said, draw a map to his house. So I had to draw a map to his house, and they went and talked to him. Because you can't go to a P.O. box and talk to someone. You have to I had to draw a map. So I know my neighbor worked at Comanche Peak, which is a nuke plant here. And they came out, the investigator came to my job. I had to fill out a visit request for them. We sat in the cafeteria, and they talked to me for about an hour and 15 minutes about my neighbor. They do the investigations and stuff.
Oh, they do. I don't know how many times. I mean, I always would tell people, it's like, if you want to use me for a reference, at least give me a heads up. But I'd just be minding my own business, working in the garage somewhere, and all of a sudden someone pulls up in my yard. I'm like, who the hell is this shit? And then they start waving a badge around. I'm like, what the fuck did I just do?
I need to ask you some questions about Carl Johnson, please.
Like, the fuck?
And then you start spouting off, oh my God.
I always start out with that asshole.
That son of a bitch.
I just joke around. I was like, he's a good guy. He's all right.
That son of a bitch owes me $20. Do you know where he's at? He owes me $20.
Like the worst reference. The worst reference.
So yeah, that's going on, and it's just the thing is, it's just getting deeper and deeper the longer it goes. I think the media's trying their asses off to like just flush it away and hope that people don't pay attention to it. But the Justice Department has.
I don't know. I saw something along the lines of they're like looking into impeaching the AG over this shit. Huh? Popped up earlier today on my.
Impeaching the Attorney General?
Yeah, they're talking about because he
knew.
I guess he knew about it before the election. This is big. They've known about this shit, no?
It's
just now hitting the fucking news.
Oh no.
This shit was happening during the election. They kept it quiet until after the election. So I mean.
There was a whole bunch. There was a whole bunch that was happening during the campaigning and during the election season. I mean, even if you read the Twitter files, man, oh my gosh.
Twitter files, man. Fucking Swift, on the other hand, he needs to resign. I'm just saying that right now.
Who's that?
Adam Swift.
Oh,
Swifty boy.
Schiff. Adam Schiff.
Shifty, Swifty, whatever you want to call him.
Yeah, he was.
He needs
what
to,
was he? He was like
resign.
trying. He was telling social media.
He was contacting Twitter and social media. Please censor this. Please censor that. Please censor this. And he also was a prime proponent of that whole investigation, Russian probe investigation bullshit.
Oh, the collusion stuff.
The bots, the quote-unquote Russian bots everyone was talking about for like years, never really existed. Even Twitter was like, I don't know what are you talking about? And the media ran with it. They ran with it. The Steele dossier happened, and a whole investigation went down. Tons of tax dollars went down the drain over some made-up bullshit.
And still folks are thumping on that like, oh my gosh, yeah, the Russian collusion. I'm like, dude, that was like debunked. It was debunked, and everyone knew it wasn't. It was kind of flaky.
It is fucking crazy. Like I said, this month has been batshit crazy. I wake up in the morning, roll over, I'm waiting for the wind up clown car to come through my kitchen while I'm drinking my coffee, and I will believe that more than the shit that I'm seeing 99% of the time on fucking internet, TV, all that crap. It's just nuts.
Staff of House Democrat Adam Schiff wrote to Twitter quite often asking that the tweets be taken down. This important use of taxpayer resources involved, and ask about a Peter Douche parody. Oh, the photo, that picture.
Yes.
It was a freaking meme, wasn't it?
It was a meme. It was humor. It was satirical. These people have no sense of humor. None.
Well, they
Zero.
do have a
It's
sense of humor.
huge.
They do have a sense of humor if they're depicting, let's say, just for an example, like President Trump as a Nazi. That's
okay.
fine. That's fine.
That's funny.
Yes, Musa, thank you very. Yeah, the rabbit hole gets deeper. You could stay up all night. You could stay up without even caffeine. You can just.
Ever since Elon Musk has purchased Twitter, I've spent too much. I stay away from Facebook now because Facebook is what Twitter used to be. You know, like now people can actually say shit and news is actually getting put out on. I'm on that shit. I hear a beep. I like roll over, look at my phone because I'm like, what's new now?
What's new? Yeah.
What's the new shit right now? I gotta know.
I gotta be the first to retweet this. I gotta tell my friends.
Like, holy shit, no? You could tell me the freaking the Earth is flat right now. I'd probably believe it over half this shit.
So even, I mean, here's a quote here. Even when
by the power of Grayskull, exactly. By the power of Grayskull.
Even when Twitter didn't suspend the account, that didn't mean that they didn't act. Schiff's office repeatedly complained about QAnon-related activity. That was often tweets about other matters, like the identity of the Ukraine whistleblower or the Steele dossier. That's nuts, dude, to have such implied power that you can affect.
They impeached a sitting president over that bullshit.
Yes, they did, and it went
over
through.
something that was fucking made up. That's the crazy part about it. It was all
the thing is
made up.
People wanted to believe that. They wanted
had a secret. They had a secret court over this crap, over that.
And now
think about this shit.
And now they're doing the same damn thing with the January 6th stuff.
Well, that's a January 6th thing. Hold on, I looked it up. The new term. I'll go look up that new term now.
There's a new term.
Yeah, give me a second. I'll find it. You can keep talking, and I'll find a term real quick. I mentioned it the other day.
I was going to switch subjects, but the real issue is when Donald Trump retweeted the Biden pic. Well, it's not illegal to retweet a pic. That doesn't mean, well, to his credit, Twitter refused to remove it with trust and safety chief Yoel Roth saying that it's obvious that it's humorous intent.
Mm-hmm. No, what I was getting at is the new House is putting a committee together to kind of investigate the weaponization of some of these alphabet soup agencies and shit. No?
Oh, right. And I mean, tasking them to do things.
Swift and all them guys are coming out and calling it insurrection protection. That's the new term.
Oh, is that what they call it?
Because they're looking into this whole January 6th crap. Like, okay, well, the FBI might have been involved, so I mean, we don't know. I mean, they're calling it insurrection protection, and everyone, as soon as it got coined, like I think one senator or some shit said it, and it's like the NPC's got a goddamn freaking update, and they're all like insurrection protection, you know, doing like dog. You know, I can't even. I was like, I saw it trending. I was like, I clicked on it. I was like,
it's like, where's that?
People are fucking bots. Donald Trump fucking.
All you see is like an army of the NPCs with like insurrection protection in their head.
It's like it was nuts. Like one guy said it, and it was like everyone just rolled with it. Like, oh, these Nazis are trying to stop us from. They're trying to protect the Nazis and like what the.
But at the same time, this same groupthink is like when the House of Representatives introduced a bill to get rid of the IRS because taxation is theft.
Yes. Oh, thank you. You beat me to it.
But the thing is, I support that idea. I support that premise. But what are they going to replace it with? And that
fair
information it's a fair tax, but what they didn't throw out any percentages. I don't even know if studies have been done.
Well, I mean, they'd have to look. You know, I'm fine and dandy with the government being like, okay, we get 5%. We need to figure out what the hell we're doing with this money. We got to budget ourselves.
We have to budget ourselves.
I am down with that.
You can't just invent money.
You can't. I mean, the Fed can, but
a bunch of other unelected people that are like unaccountable to anybody.
Yeah, this is print the money, money printer go Bert pretty much the last 4 years, and everyone's wondering why eggs are going almost 60 cents a piece right now.
Dude,
Ta-da!
I bought a dozen. I bought a dozen eggs last week because I have an egg in my salad because I'm eating healthier, and that dozen eggs was like $7.30, and it wasn't even the good eggs. Man,
I'll make a shirt that says taxation face theft with my face on it, and you can buy it. How about that?
You think people are going to walk around with your mug on there? I think they will. I think they will.
I don't know.
Got that sexy ass freedom beard going. So let's talk about. We can talk about Russia. We can talk about Russia, right? We're allowed to. We're allowed to talk about Russia. See this guy here? He's not the guy you think that was released from Russian prison. He's an American Navy veteran who was detained in Russia for nearly a year, was finally released from Russian custody on yesterday, after months of negotiations spearheaded by former New Mexico Governor Bill Richardson. Taylor Dudley, age 35, of Lansing, Michigan, was detained by Russian border police. This is a pretty good meme here. After crossing from Poland into a territory about 400 miles away from mainland Russia called Kaliningrad. It lies between Poland and Lithuania. He was in Poland attending a music festival, and it's not entirely clear why or how he crossed the border. This detention has not been widely publicized before because the family wanted negotiations to remain private. Yes, the State Department knew, and yes, President Biden knew, but they were ineffective. Since negotiations did not involve officials acting on behalf of the United States, there was no trade for Mr. Dudley. He was released. So tell me, have you ever gotten lost? I mean, it's easy. Oh. It's super easy. Look at that. I mean, there's that little enclave right there between Poland and Lithuania that is under the governance of Russia. So, and
that's a World War II thing, ain't it?
He made a wrong. Well, I think it's a Soviet Union breakup thing.
All right. Well,
so I don't know. Look at the map. It seems like it would be pretty easy. It would be an easy mistake to make for a foreigner. It's not like he lived in Poland and he just accidentally went to Russia. He's a United States citizen. He was there for a concert, and he ended up in Russia.
Have you ever had a Rammstein concert?
I don't know. I tried to figure out. It's the same story over and over and over. What I wanted to know was what was he doing? What was he doing in the area? He's former military. He's not active. I was wondering what was he doing there? Was he working there? Who was he working for? But it was all the same BS. So, have you ever been to El Paso?
Oh yes, and the roads over there are like so easy for you to accidentally just be like, "Oops, dude, I'm gonna head into Mexico."
It's easy as hell to end up in the wrong lane on the hallway or a highway and having to turn around, but you have to turn around once you get into Mexico. Better hope you don't have a gun.
Figure our government would be smart enough to have like, this is your last chance, turn around. Kind of like a turnabout, no,
get
out of this.
Your last chance to turn around is after you've entered Mexico, and then you're gonna get searched, and they're gonna find stuff.
A Russian gentleman's club? That happened to a Marine. 2015 time frame, and they held him for almost a year in Mexican.
And he was in a bad way. He was in a really bad way.
Just because, oops, I made a wrong turn, and I had a pistol on me, and now I'm sitting in jail for.
So I didn't have a good graphic to say that was Russia, so I put a picture of President Putin on there.
Oh. I'm looking at that map and I'm seeing that like really weird, like bubble off of Lithuania. Looks like a skin tag growing off the side of it.
Yeah, that's oh.
See what I'm talking about?
Yeah. I mean, imagine living
just
there.
Imagine. Oh, you just accidentally. I'm in Belarus. I didn't mean to do that. You know,
My front yard's in Belarus and my backyard's in Lithuania.
Yeah.
So, a new fad is coming.
And all that was part of it.
A new fad is coming back, and I don't know if
Jinko jeans,
if the world is ready for this fad.
The really big jeans, Jinko jeans,
I don't know, like the hip rider jeans.
No, the ones that had like the pant leg bottoms.
Oh, bell
that
bottoms.
Were, like,
the bell bottoms.
No, these weren't bell bottoms. Jinko jeans were like I could like wear the whole thing as a kilt. How big the
like
it was a 90s fad.
Obnoxiously large bell bottoms.
Yes, they were ridiculous. I'll send you a picture in a second.
No, it's a new fad. It's called face masks. Remember those?
Like the COVID shit?
Yeah.
Oh.
So, I'm happy. Personally, this is Koz speaking. I'm happy that the vax mandate is over for the military. That is a win. That is a win for everybody. I shared the official memo on Sergeant's Time last night. This hasn't stopped the tyranny from those who love to wield power. The mask mandate is back in some areas of the United States. And it's also spilling over into colleges like Duke University in Durham, North Carolina, planning to make masks an entry requirement if COVID cases do not come down within the next fortnight. The University of Massachusetts, Boston, brought back its controversial mask mandate on Monday. This means that more than 600,000 students living with COVID rules, despite little evidence that they reduce transmission, after students in New Jersey and Pennsylvania were also put under the mask mandate last week. So it's kind of creeping. And if you look at that map, you can see Washington State, California, looks like Michigan, Illinois, New York, Pennsylvania, D.C., all the blue areas.
Even though masks don't work?
Allegedly, they don't work. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I have no idea. But I think that you ought to, here's the information, make a good decision. You don't make people to do shit like that.
I mean, you remember back early pandemic, people were walking around with like diapers on their face and tampons on their face?
Just everything. Everything. There were people, I saw pictures of people going into like Walmart with scuba gear on. Like they had the mask on. They were breathing out of their tank.
I wanted to walk around in full mop and start spray painting people's doors with X's just to freak people out.
Additionally,
that's what a Jinko jean is, by the way.
Oh Lord. Oh, let me let's see. I'm on 5. So let's look at what these jeans. Oh man. The thing is, the good thing about those jeans is if you're going to be a criminal, you're not going to wear those, because the chances of you running away, there's saggy jeans is one thing, but trying to run away in those jeans is not going to end well. That's a lot of material, dude.
I used to skateboard in those things, man.
Oh. Dude. I'm judging you right now.
Yeah, dude, that was the fad, man. Back at like I'd say like late 90s, early 2000s, that was the thing, man. Everyone.
Casey Gray says you can layer up when it gets cold out there.
Those things, like the only thing that sucked about them things was, you're walking and it's wet, and then it's wick. So next thing you know, your balls are fucking soaking wet.
Man, those things would be heavy.
But I mean, they still sell them. They're $300 almost a pair. You can see.
Holy crap!
Yeah, that's just. I mean, I can't believe you don't know about them things.
No, I kind of like Jordache jeans was a thing.
I missed that trend.
I did. I think I did. And I'm not really sad about it. But additionally, with this mask mandate thing, many primary and secondary schools in the United States are mandating masks in class, and some are even requiring students to test negative. Yesterday,
do you see a trend on that map, though?
I do not see a trend on this map. Well, I do see it. It's obvious.
I mean, yeah.
certain states with certain political leanings are doing this.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, all of these states that are mandating this are states that had the big mandates before, and now they're having a resurgence of cases.
We're getting close to election time too, so.
I was really thinking the last election, the midterms, were going to have some kind of a restriction. But down here in Texas, there was nothing there. I mean, if you want to wear a mask, you wear a mask. If you don't, you don't. There wasn't like, you have to put on a mask to come into the building to go vote. It was
South Carolina.
All of the I can't even say all of them. All of the poll workers, not all of the poll workers. There were a few that didn't wear masks. Some of them did. Some of them didn't. Some of them wore the bedazzled, a mask that said "vote" on them, and it was cool. It was fine. But the folks in there, even the voters in there, some were wearing masks, some weren't. That's fine. I don't care. I really don't care. Even today, I go grocery shopping. Some people are wearing masks. Some people aren't. Do you?
I don't harass people. I don't go up and harass people for wearing a mask. But
the only person I judge is the person that's driving alone in their damn car with a freaking mask on. That's it.
I don't care at that point. I don't judge them for doing that. But the one thing I've been berated because I'm walking around by myself and someone with a mask came up to me and started, it's like, my man, I was keeping my social distance. You came from a quarter mile away to come harass me about not wearing a mask. Now you're in my freaking bubble. Like back off or I'm going to beat your ass. I've literally been to that point. Yeah, I'm about to have fisticuffs with you.
What about the lady that had a mask and it was made and it was a good mask, but it had like little penises on it? So when people come up to her and say, "Hey, you've got penises on your mask," that means that you're too close to see that. So get the fuck away from me.
Exactly. Exactly. Like, the people with the masks are the worst about the social distancing, especially during that whole COVID fucking bullshit, is they're in a mask. They think they're Vince fucking Superman. They have the space in the lines and shit. They'd be like hovering on you going,
oh my gosh, right?
On your shoulder and shit. And I'm going to break you if you don't step back.
So yesterday there was an announcement. Was it yesterday or the day before? An announcement by the Health and Human Services Secretary Xavier Becerra announced that for the 12th time there's been a renewal of the COVID-19 public health emergency, which was first declared by the former Health and Human Services Secretary Alex Azar in January of 2020. They just keep on kicking this can down the road. What I'm thinking is as long as you make it an emergency, states can apply for aid. Texas is guilty as well. Governor Abbott, I guess, if that state of emergency is there, they can get, federal dollars and shit.
90% of my local government has been caught up in some PPP crap. It's ridiculous.
So I know that we had an abbreviated, a delayed start to the show because of technical issues. I think that's all taken care of now.
I think we made that time up.
I'm knocking on wood. I think everything's going to be great. We're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about California, and not in a bad way. California's getting pounded, and all I got to say is whoever is in California. Whoever is in California praying for rain, it's time to stop, okay? Okay, thanks. All right, we're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about California. We're going to talk about gas. And here I am burping. I have a weird burp in my throat here. But no, the gas ban, the natural gas thing that has kind of blown up in the news that is really a non-issue, but it's blown up in the news. I've got memes, so that's going to be fun. Oh, what else are we going to talk about? And then we're going to talk about a presidential embarrassment, not in our country, but we're We're going to talk about that, and then we're going to shoot the shit, and then Pooky's going to tell his story, and then we're going to have a really, really great night, and we're just going to BS for the rest of the night. How about that? So,
sounds good.
We're going to take a short break, so get up, grab a new beverage, but please come back because the rest of the show is going to be super interesting, and shots, everybody.
WTF Nation Radio. WTF Nation Radio.
WTF Nation Radio.
Paint a you know me. I've lost all my patience and forgotten laughter, serving out my sentence, waiting for the rapture. Nothing good will come, 'cause our poison word is pure. Just a nobody who will never find a cure. I can't reason with myself. I'll never make it back. The past is in the rearview. I'm always losing track. Where do I go? Where do I go? Where do I go from here? Where do I go? Where do I go? Where do I go from here? Where do I go? Where do I go? Where do I go from here? Where do I go? Where do I go? Where do I go as you disappear?
John Hancock. It's Herbie Hancock. Yeah.
The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
It is important. It is really, really, really important to unmute your microphone when you're trying to talk. Because you could just talk and talk and talk and no one's gonna hear anything. So hey, we're back with the second half of Friday Night Freedom. My name is Koz, that's Pooky, and we're gonna take you all to the finish line. So Casey Gray's like FemVet Roar. Roar. Hell yeah. Everyone's talking about, the vax, the mandates, all that other stuff was just such bullshit. Right before we went to break, somebody, the CNN doctor that once championed masks, that link, I'm gonna guess. I haven't read it. I'm not gonna open it up. But it was a doctor that once championed masks is probably like, no, that's all a bunch of BS. I'm not going to say, I don't know. All I know is I hated wearing it. And it sucked that I had to. I didn't like it. I don't think it really made much of a difference. I wore a face covering. The only time I actually wore a legit mask is when I traveled. I did go to Canada. Canada was super serious about wearing the masks. Really serious. Of course, the airlines were super serious. My company was like, hey, as long as you get something in front of your face, you're fine. So it was all... What's that?
No, the only time I see masks is kind of like a mandatory thing, in my opinion, should be on air flights. I really do believe that. Maybe kids, not so much. People try to mask like 2-year-olds and crap, which blew my mind.
Yeah,
but like as an
because if you're a
adult,
2-year-old,
put a
the first
mask on, if you're, rip it off. But if you're an adult on a plane, wear a damn mask. I really do agree with that. That was a. I mean, unless you're eating or doing something,
I mean, I flew over Christmas, and there were, I think it was, if I were to throw percentages out there, I think there was 70% of the people did not have masks on, 30% did. Walking through the airport, probably about the same ratio. 30% of the people were wearing masks, 70% were not. And that doesn't matter if I'm in Dallas, so I left out of Dallas Fort Worth Airport, but I landed in Chicago, and you're thinking that everyone's going to be masked up in Chicago, but no, I mean, there's no mandate there yet. And it was pretty chill, man. It was really pretty chill. No one was a dickhead about stuff.
That's how, man. I only agree with it on an airplane because that's like probably the one place you will get infected by something. Not just COVID.
I mean, they've got like
flu, whatever.
I mean, yeah, and there's flu and there's RSV going around. Not in my part of the country, but there's a bunch of nasty crap out there. And you know, some of my friends have been sick, and they're like, "Man, I thought I had the flu, but it was something else." And you know, so they've recovered and everybody's good. But hopefully I can say this, and there's knocking on wood again. I'm blessed. I think I'm blessed with a pretty resilient immune system. And maybe that's because I wore a shitty mask during COVID, and I haven't caught it again. I did catch it once, but I've been okay so far. And
natural immunity.
I'm not going to toot any horns. I'm just going to say I'm doing very well, and I hope it continues. So, I want to know which one of you out there who live in California have been praying for rain, because dude, it's coming true. That's nuts. Check this video out, dude. That's Fresno, California. And that's just, the rain just keeps on coming, and with all the mountains and stuff that they have there, the ground's going to give way, but dude, the size of these boulders that are coming down are the size of like garages.
That's epic, yeah.
Storm-ravaged Californians scrambled to clean up and repair widespread damage on Wednesday as the rain eased in many areas. Although thunderstorms led to a new atmospheric river in the northern half of the state. The plume of moisture lurking off the coast stretched all the way over the Pacific to Hawaii, making it a true Pineapple Express. The latest rains were expected to impact only Northern California, giving the South a break until more wet weather arrives this weekend, which is like now. More than half of California's 58 counties were declared disaster areas. Damn. The previous storm that began Monday was one in a series that began late last month, and repairing the damage may cost more than $1 billion. California Department of Transportation snowplows in the eastern Sierra Nevada range were running around the clock to fully reopen US 395, which at one time was blocked with 75 miles of snow, ice, and rocks. The Palisades Tahoe Ski Resort reported that it had received 300 inches of snowfall so far this season. The season just started, dude, and they've had 300 inches of snow. That is,
they needed it, though.
They do. But the thing is, with all of this rain there, it's going to do very little to fill the reservoirs. They're still going to have problems.
There was one reservoir there, and I saw on the Weather Channel, got 100 feet so far.
Did you really? Inches nuts. Or feet?
Yes, feet. It has filled up 100 feet. It was where is it at? It started with an O somewhere. They were talking about a Weather Channel. They were like amazed by it. They're like, it's filled up 100 feet. And it was like, what the fuck? Orville.
The Orville Dam? The Orville Dam?
Yes.
The Orville Reservoir? Yeah. Holy crap! Really?
It's been This rain is insane, man. It is insane at that point. Huh?
I mean, all that moisture coming up, it's got nowhere to go. It doesn't soak into the soil. It just runs off. And I guess that explains why the reservoirs would fill up more. Because it's not soaking into the soil. It's just running off.
It's like trillions upon trillions of gallons of rain. People don't realize how massive this is.
We got to figure, I mean...
I watch your Weather Channel too much.
and I'm just guessing, okay, yeah, you got an inch of rain in your yard. Awesome. So did your neighbor. So did their neighbor. So did their neighbor. So that all has to run off somewhere. Some of that soaks in. The rest of it goes down to storm drains. That's nasty, man. It is nasty. I'm glad they're getting rain.
All that water is pouring into the Pacific, and they have no way of, like aquifer storage or anything like Arizona has aquifer storage, like all kinds of crazy shit. Then California is just kind of nonchalantly just running off. Like, this is water that they desperately need, and it's just bye-bye. I feel bad for it.
They don't have any aquifer storage? What do they do with that? Does that just go away?
I know Arizona has these weird things.
Or it goes back out into the ocean or something?
It just goes straight in. Well, with California, it just flows freely. They say, we can't collect it. We can't collect it. But Arizona has these things set up where it's just kind of like any extra water that they need, they throw it into like an underwater. It's an underwater reservoir, an aquifer, pretty much.
Right. Yeah. We have them down in Austin.
Yeah. And I don't know what California's been doing the last 20 years. Man. Like, we're in a drought the last 20 years. Maybe we should have prepared for this, because this happens every 100 years or so in California. They call them arc storms or some shit. They were predicting this shit 5 years ago.
Someone hadn't been taking notes.
Too worried about inclusivity training and giving out free crack pipes and shit. No?
and banning the combustion engine and things like that.
Yes.
Speaking of that, there's been a new thing in the news, and that's it kind of made a splash. It's not a thing, but it was really fun to make fun of this
It was fun to make fun of it.
It was fun to make fun of a non-accountable agency that says, "Oh, we're going to we're going to suggest banning gas stoves." That sounds ridiculous. It really does. I mean, how long have gas stoves been around? A lot longer than electric stoves have, right?
Yes.
So a federal agency says a ban on gas stoves is on the table amid rising concerns about harmful indoor air pollutants emitted by the appliances. They made this statement, and they provided absolutely no scientific proof at all. The U.S. Consumer Product Safety Council, or Safety Commission, plans to take action to address the pollution, which can cause health problems and respiratory problems. This is a hidden hazard, Richard Trunka said, who is an agency commissioner. Any option is on the table. Products that can't be made safe can be banned. Consumers considering a new oven purchase are urged to go electric. Dude, our power grids are being stressed out right now. And now you want to get rid of gas ovens and then put everybody on the grid with their oven. I really should have done that. How many watts of power will you use? And I didn't do that. So in a letter to the agency in December, dude, I've got memes, and these are like non-player characters with the gas shit on their heads. So we got the memes here. In a letter to the agency in December, lawmakers, including Senator Cory Booker, Spartacus, right, of New Jersey, and Representative Don Beyer of Virginia, both Democrats urged action and called gas stove emissions a cumulative burden on Black, Latino, and low-income households that disproportionately experience air pollution. What? This is what?
No, yeah.
So they're going to take. I mean, I don't have the option for gas, but if I had an option for gas, I would have a gas furnace.
I don't have it at my house. Yeah, I don't have it at my house, but we have a gas propane powered fireplace because it gets so cold sometimes that our heat pump can't keep up. So you gotta heat the house with the propane. But
yeah, I've got a heat pump, and when it can't keep up, I've got electric heat. But if I had the option, it would definitely be propane or natural gas. For sure, dude. And that's so much less expensive than electricity.
No, man.
Consumers who want to switch from gas to electric ranges could get some help from government programs, of course. Of course, the government's there to help. Yeah, come and take my gas, my gas stove, man.
I don't know if you can see my camera right now, but Godzilla has a thing to say about gas stoves.
So anyway, Uncle Sugar is going to come to the rescue, and they're going to give you some money. It's not like they're going to give you money. It's like they're going to give you back your money.
It's a tax rebate. You paid us. We'll just give you some of that theft back.
So yeah, it's because of that massive climate spending bill signed into law in August. The Inflation Reduction Act includes rebates of up to $840 for the purchase of new electric ranges as part of a $4.5 billion funding to help low and moderate income households electrify their homes. On Wednesday, the CPSC, the Consumer Product Safety Commission, clarified that the agency, they don't, and this is a quote, they don't plan to ban the gas stove. But nowhere in the article, in the articles that I've read, specifically say that they wouldn't lobby in this direction. And this is where I'm going to show a couple more of these memes because they're just awesome. Thank you, Ice, for hooking me up, man. Ice had hooked me up for this story.
I think I made one. I think I made one in the Gonzalez flag. You know, like come and take it with a gas.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. God, this is a hunting stove and then an assault stove. So I guess what are the black stoves bad? I don't really get it.
No.
So it's what I want to draw attention to is it's like they say these things like, oh no, we're not trying to ban. We're not. That's so silly. We're not trying to ban the stove. They're kind of taking a back door to it. And I looked at some data, and in this slide right here, you're going to see where these are like for building codes and stuff, where if you want to have gas piped to your house, you have an option to either have gas or have electric. The red states there are like they have like laws. They've already said no, we're not going to ban. They're not gonna ban a ban on gas. They're not. This is really hard. It's just because of the way that it's all worded. The red states are cool because they're going to let you have the option to have either gas or electricity. Let's put it that way. The blue in here, there's like the pink or the shaded red. There's like it's on the ballot this year. The blue ones are like the dark blue ones are like there's definitely a ban on having an option to have natural gas in your home. But and this picture here is from 2021, and there's a slight change between 21 and 22 because 22 shows a little bit more blue and then a little bit more red. So there's those dark spots you see there are like you don't have an option to have either. It's going to be electric. You're going to have an electric house. You don't have an option.
New York of all places. What about the people living in the Adirondacks? You know, like, come on, people.
Who's going to run power? 70,000 volt lines up in the mountains.
Oh.
To supply to provide more supply that's already in short supply.
See, I heard something crazy about that study. Was the people who funded the think tank that funded that was a pro 100% electric house group.
Yep.
I don't know if that's true or not.
Because
I heard that.
Well, because
the environment.
Because we can all just have solar panels and windmills. Solar panels and windmills are going to do this.
I don't know.
So do you at this point, you are electric? You have electric in your house? That's
I mean my house was set up specifically for electric, but I do have a gas powered fireplace. Like if it gets
that's awesome.
It used to be a legit like wood fireplace. All the homes in my area were built at a time where they're like, hey, electric's cool and all, but we understand that heat pumps can't keep up if it get. For some weird reason, there's a heat snap. I mean, not a heat snap, a cold snap, like in Texas, this happened last year. They understood this shit in the 80s. Okay, well, burn some wood, heat the house. In Texas, it was like that. Where I was living in Houston, I had a fireplace, legit fireplace. There'd be some years it would get cold and throw some wood in the fireplace. Everyone would sit in the living room and keep toasty. You know, like that's the way it works.
Yeah, it's cheap.
But all the newer homes, I mean, this is a very pro natural gas area. I mean, they got natural gas pipes running everywhere. The newer houses that are being built are natural gas. Most of them are natural gas.
You've got one massive pipeline that runs through your area.
Yeah.
All the way up the eastern seaboard, all the way to the eastern seaboard.
You could, I could see every time when I go out, I drive by that thing all the time. It's just this, they have the trees cut, and you can see where it's at, and you can see for miles where it's running at that
and it's
point.
great, isn't it awesome? It's
Yeah,
awesome, and there's
mind
not
it.
like dead animals laying around. It's not like it's environmentally bad.
But the crazy part about it is though these people want to go all electric, but where does the electricity come from? In most of those states.
Yeah, I mean they think it's coal,
coal, natural gas. There's a natural gas pipe.
Exactly.
So let's burn the natural gas, make electricity with it, and then send it down a line. There's loss. There's got to be some sort of loss of efficiency at that point. I mean, it's
Pooky, you fucking think too much, man.
It's a beauty to be like, you know, like I know some super educated people that like make my head hurt sometimes with the shit that comes out of their mouth, because it's like, did you think that the whole way through? Or, you know, like, is your mouth running, your brain thinking something else? You know, like, what's going on up in there?
You know, if Pookie's not here next week, it's because he's been abducted and he's going to be like reprogrammed. And then when he comes back a week after next, he's going to be just preaching everything, you know, like windmills and green energy and the Green New Deal and all this other stuff.
I'll tell you what, though, if I had the money for it, I would get one of those induction stoves. I don't know if you've seen those induction stoves. Cool as shit.
Yes. You could put your,
they could be
you could put your hand on it and it's nothing, but you put this. Yes.
Dude, you can sit on it. You can sit on it. Take a pan that's designed for it, fry an egg in your lap. That's so crazy. That's cool as shit. I mean, that's cool.
I wouldn't do that because I know how heat transference works and thermodynamics works, but I get it. It's awesome.
Roast those huevos.
Big time. Check this out. It's my nut eggs. Here's my recipe. I'll do TikTok videos of my nut eggs.
But it's like the joke that I made, well, Godzilla made, was the dihydrogen monoxide is dangerous in homes. It kills an average of 900 children a year in the U.S. So maybe we should ban it. Oh no, dihydrogen monoxide. No, dihydrogen monoxide.
Oh my gosh. Oh my god. Oh my god.
You gotta word it a certain way to get people to freak out, right?
Well, it's like,
no, it's just water.
This lawn recently treated with dihydrogen monoxide. Oh my gosh, kids, don't touch that lawn. Yeah, get the fuck off my grass.
If you breathe just a little bit of it inside, it can kill you.
You'll start coughing. If you breathe a mist of this, you're going to start coughing. That's awesome.
If you ingest too much of it, it could be very painful.
Exactly. I like that collective sigh that we just shared. That was pretty awesome.
I know, it's this clown world. I'll tell you, like I was saying earlier, as I'm waiting for that clown car to just come rolling up through my kitchen while I'm drinking my morning coffee. I would believe that more than 99%.
You know what? You know where the clown car did show up? Was in South Sudan. Have you heard the latest news coming out of South Sudan? You see this cowboy looking
with the news.
This cowboy looking guy, this sexy looking man, and he always dresses like this. He's usually using he's wearing like red or black. He's the president of South Sudan.
Does he have blue eyes?
He does. He's a sexy looking motherfucker, man.
Dang, he got blue eyes.
I don't believe it.
Have blue eyes.
I don't believe it.
I don't even have blue eyes.
I mean, I am of European descent and I have blue eyes, but I don't believe this man. 6 journalists in South Sudan have been detained over the circulation of footage showing President Salva Kiir appearing to wet himself at an official event. the dude was at an official presidential event, and he soiled his pantaloons. The footage from
Didn't Biden
December.
do that with the Pope?
I don't know.
I heard stories floating around that Biden shit himself when he was visited.
Well, President Bush puked on Japan's prime minister's lap. He had some bad fish and he yacked on his lap or something like that.
Oh, well, that sushi will do it to you.
The footage from December showed a dark stain spread down the 71-year-old's presidential gray trousers as he stood for the national anthem at a road commissioning event. The video never aired on television, but subsequently circulated on social media. If you look on YouTube, it's there, and it's pretty damn obvious. They're suspected of having knowledge on how the video of the president urinating himself came out. He told Reuters. South Sudan Information Minister Michael Makui and the National Security Service spokesperson did not immediately respond to requests for comment. The journalists who work with the state-run South Sudan Broadcasting Corporation were detained on Tuesday and Wednesday, and according to reports, they have been released. I have not seen any indication. None of them are like, yes, I was a journalist that was detained, and here's my story. But so here's some of the pictures. Here's some stills from the video. I mean, there's some moisture down yonder. So the president of South Sudan, maybe he'd been standing around for a while. He just didn't want to. He just had to let it go.
Hey, you're the president. You can do whatever the hell you want.
You can do whatever you want. The thing is, South Sudan is like notorious for like killing journalists. So I think it's a pretty good thing that they were
Isn't
just
he the
arrested.
guy that like established the Constitution that made him like just president for life or some crap? Or I might be confusing on another. One of the.
I think
African
you're
nations.
pretty close. I think you're good. So yeah. So I've got one more tick mark. Are you ready for this change? Are you ready for your story? It's not like we're building.
I mean,
it's not like we were building up for this. We were just
it's
finding
just something that I put together last minute because
you got to
our
get
guest
in.
kinda had to
It's like
reschedule.
when Red Leg said you got to get in where you fit in. It just didn't seem like it fit in with any of the stories. But we have gaming news, and normally that's left up to CQ and the Pop Culture Warrior staff. But
This is pretty new kind of breaking kind of crap. It's a little bit more than just gaming though. It's like, I guess, business.
Okay.
Best way to put it. Yeah, it's pop culture, but it's business. Holy crap! Look at me.
Look, we're both in a bubble.
Holy crap! That looks cool as hell. So it's you want me to go with it?
Yeah,
right?
go with it, man. Go for it.
All right, so I don't know, like any of y'all are really up into the Dungeons and Dragons and stuff like that, or know about Hasbro, the company that I think they make. Was it Monopoly? Is what they're really popular for?
Monopoly is Hasbro.
Yeah. Well, Hasbro has a subsidiary company called Wizards of the Coast. That's pretty much the way to go with it. They do Dungeons and Dragons, but I'll get into it. Hasbro's Wizards of the Coast announced around 2 weeks ago it was canceling at least 5 video game projects. They're scaling back because there's some share issues, like the stock market, whatever, they had a 40% dip in their shares since last year, and it's been constant, and
that's a lot.
Yeah, it's huge actually. I know, I think the last CEO that actually stepped down. But about a week ago, IGN reported that Wizards of the Coast, publisher of the well-known tabletop RPG Dungeons and Dragons, which is that was seen in the popular show. Was it
Stranger Things?
Stranger Things, yeah, that was like big last season. Announced revisions to a 2-decade-old open gaming license. the OGL is what they call it. The OGL has given many creators the ability to produce and share their own D&D content through platforms like Kickstarter, and has enabled publishers like Paizo, publisher of Pathfinder. If you're into this, you know what Pathfinder is, to establish themselves as leaders of the tabletop industry.
Would you say that Dungeons and Dragons has gained in popularity since the 90s to today?
Definitely.
Or has it just maintained? I know it's gained popularity when Stranger Things kind of kicked off. I'm sure there was a spike. I've had friends contact me like that I've been in the army, that I was in the army with, 20 years ago plus, and they're like, oh, I'm playing Dungeons and Dragons, and this is like 45, 50-year-old women, and they're like getting really hooked onto it. They're getting hooked on it.
Well, I think Stranger Things really brought it to light.
That's cool.
But this OGL that I was speaking of pretty much allowed creators to just produce whatever they wanted to without any penalty, like no Creative Commons laws and stuff like that. But they introduced a revision. It brings significant changes to the D&D policy, including the mandatory registration of products for sale with Wizards of the Coast. Additionally, the agreement imposes a 20 to 25% royalty on licensed users, with annual revenues exceeding $750,000.
They're taking 25% of your revenue.
So if you
3D print a D&D object and sell it to Joe Blow, they want
their cut, but they originally was starting, like the original start is $750,000. So if your company registered through this
new
agreement, yeah, but the problem is most of these companies, like, I don't know if you know, like overhead and all this shit, they might make $750,000, but 25% would destroy them on the market level.
Yeah,
they're losing all their profits at this point. Mandatory registration, and grants Wizard a broad, non-exclusive, perpetual, irrevocable, worldwide, sub-licensable, royalty-free license to utilize any content generated under the OGL. It pretty much says
sounds like a pay-to-play.
Well, I mean, if you produce anything under the D&D 5th generation kind of thing,
gotcha.
5th edition rule book set. They own you at that point. They
own at least 25% of you.
Well, they could take your content and say it's ours now. That's pretty much the gist of it.
So they take your content. They take your content and the revenue that your content produces.
Pretty much. OGL, despite the current version's clear statement that such compulsion cannot be imposed on creators, blah, 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 blah. But in OGL 1.1, Wizard states the open game license was always intended to allow a community to help grow D&D and expand its creativity. It was never intended to subsidize major competitors. And that's where they're getting at it, because I guess there's a company, Patreon. Let me look at it. Paizo, they do Pathfinder, which started as a D&D kind of subshoot, but it's got so far gone and separated. They're like a multi-million-dollar kind of publishing company now at this point.
Wow! So they did good things and they branched out, and so what? Yeah, as a result of their success, Hasbro, is that the parent?
Yeah, Hasbro is the parent company, and Hasbro has been notorious money, like what was it, Mr. Krabs kind of thing. But where was I at? Especially as alternatives, Pathfinder game popular in recent years, Wizards is showing more interest in controlling the open game license. Needless to say, this caused an outrage in the tabletop community when OGL 1.1 was leaked on Reddit, with the Twitter user Griffin Saddle saying OGL, he said 2.0, but it was kind of new, so he didn't really. The fact was leaked in a handful of creators yesterday. In it, they lie about 1.1 being a draft and hiding double down bad choices for a couple of sessions or whatever it is. But let me see here. Pretty much it renders Kickstarter infeasible. Like the Kickstarter, I don't know if you know about Kickstarter.
Oh, I do. Absolutely, I do.
Well, yeah, people can start things on there. If you try to kickstart anything, they want their cut. No? That's pretty much.
People make a lot of money on Kickstarter, and it really does good things. I wanted to buy it was a new dash cam coming out, and it probably it still is, but it was one of those pre-orders. You have to invest now, and it was like $100.
Yes, no.
But then there was a chance of loss if they don't actually release it, and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna wait. I would rather pay $250 rather than $100 for a guaranteed product.
I've invested in Kickstarters
that has failed.
Just because
and if they fail, the thing is,
No.
I think it's more of it's like a bait and switch, not a bait and switch, but here's my really great idea and here's my Kickstarter thing. People invest in it and they're like, it just didn't fucking work out, and then it just goes away, and you've got no recourse, because to invest in a Kickstarter, you don't have any guaranteed return on that. Is that fair?
Yeah, no, it's definitely fair. I've invested, I've seen great things on Kickstarter.
Oh, yeah,
that
me
is
too.
a great idea, and I threw some cash at it. Cool. That's how investment works, right? Basic investment 101. I like your idea. Here's some money. But by killing that ability for Kickstarter, like these people to kickstart their initiatives with the open license or whatever it is, with this new license coming out, it's gonna destroy a lot of people, man.
So do you think that they're gonna kill like the D&D industry of people doing cool things and you're just hanging out with their friends, and they just happen to have a 3D printer? They're not going to make $350,000 or $750,000 a year.
No, it's not gonna hurt the little guy like that. But it's like, for instance, I've have a couple acquaintances of mine that have designed modules for these big companies. It's an open kind of source kind of thing. So they're like, they designed this module, and this publishing company goes, I like your idea, and they tag their name onto it. And it's like a brainchild of mine. I've spent hours, maybe weeks, months on this module for this game. My name's on it on their website, but then if Wizards of the Coast decides, well, it's ours now, you don't get no credit for it at that point.
No.
It's just flushed it. Yes. Let's see, virtual tabletop content. I don't know if you know anything about virtual tabletop content. It's there's Tabletop Simulator is a big one on Steam where I could play any game I want to.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
But Wizards is specifically targeting what they consider their content, and they want their cut off of it. So like a third party.
Does it belong to them? I mean.
Well, I mean, and here's the big thing, right? With the original OGL, it was like pretty much you're free to create, do whatever you want to. They wanted to build their community. With this new update with this OGL, they're pretty much saying like, okay, well, your time to create is over. Now it's all our shit, and we own it.
So
they changed the contract pretty much. It's like me like saying, oh, you can cut my grass for $50, and all right, cool. Oh, I'm gonna cut your grass for $50, and I turn around and go, oh, well, I just changed my mind. The contract's changed. You got to pay $250 now. You can't disagree to it.
You can't disagree. Here's my offer. You can't disagree.
Yes, you can't. That's pretty much the gist of it. There's a couple of these publishing companies that are really big into it. Like, what was his name? Let me look real quick. I think it's called White Hacks. He does really good stuff. He just pulled all his content down because he's like, I'm not even going to deal with it at this point. This is scary shit.
This is kind of nuts because
it's a one-sided contract.
Wolfie had a really good point. Wolfie had a good point. It's all about the Benjamins. People in companies and people that provide content and people that actually provide a product. It doesn't matter how old it is. They want to get paid. Times are tough. Times are really tough right now for a lot of people, especially industries. And this is this is a spinoff of Hasbro that they just want to be paid. It's hard.
I mean,
I think everybody ought to get paid what they're worth if they provide a service or a product, they ought to be paid for that. And to recreate a product,
if I'm creating for free, I mean, I write stories sometimes that are based in the Forgotten Realms, which is Dungeons and Dragons.
Okay.
In the back of my, I'll just I write a story, write it down in my book. I mean, if they word it right in this OGL, they have the right to come on my house and take my books.
Well, so how do you change
and
it
it's
up?
a one-sided contract.
How do you change it up to make it not connected to that? I mean, is there going to be a bunch of spin-offs and it's just going to be stupid now, or?
Well, Kobo Press, Peso is a Greek name for something I can't remember. Inc. Publishers. Peso at first, like originally when they were asked about it, they just denied it. They said this is new shit. Hold on, they step back. But today they came out and pretty much said, "Hey, we're gonna." I don't know if you know about like Linux, like what's it called, the GNU license, like open source licensing.
Yeah.
OBS uses it.
I do.
All these, yeah. Pretty much just that is like we are building our own license, and they're going to war with Wizards of the Coast all over this shit. We'll build our own license that no one can own anything. Blah 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 blah. Everything's open source. If it's yours, it's yours. You can make money off of it if you choose to, but if it's yours, regardless of whoever changes. If you build it off of Bubba Gump's idea,
shrimp.
Yeah, bubblegum shrimp, but I decide, well, I like bubblegum shrimp, but instead of shrimp, I'm going to choose crawdads. Your crawdad cannot be affected by a shrimp change. That's the best way to explain it.
That's nuts, dude. And you know who's going to get paid with this is the lawyers, because lawyers on both sides are going to be fighting for their clients, and they're going to get paid. It's like a divorce. It really is like a divorce. Nobody makes money in a divorce except for the lawyers.
Well, was it Rule for Combat on Twitter mentioned something that was very interesting to me, and it makes sense to me at this point. He says, fun fact, the Lord of the Rings role-playing 5th edition, which is based off of Dungeons and Dragons game, uses the OGL 1.0.
They're gonna seal that, sue that industry.
Well, he said, this is what he said. I'm sure the extremely litigious Tolkien estate will completely be fine with the new OGL 111 and giving all of their Lord of the Rings properties to Hasbro as a sub-license for free forever.
Oh,
and that's pretty much the way that license is written. I mean, there's My Little Pony, there's Godzilla, there's Transformers.
Really?
I mean, this
all of that? Because it's a great concept. I guess it's built on that original concept.
It's based off of that original license. What the original what's his name? Go back to it real quick. I have a hard time pronouncing her name. It's a Greek word, so I have a really Pezos Inc. They do Pathfinder, which is a subset of Dungeons and Dragons. They based it off of Dungeons and Dragons, but like I said, they're so far gone at this point that they're not even Dungeons and Dragons anymore. And the Pathfinder, pretty much, like, people started building their own shit off of Pathfinder, and they're scared now because if Pathfinder gets sucked up into this, all their shit gets sucked up into this.
For a long damn time, and they haven't done this for a long damn time. Like, actually being...
It's 20 years.
Yeah.
I mean, the OG Dungeons and Dragons community was... I don't think Wizards of the Coast originally owned Dungeons and Dragons. I think they might have gotten sucked up into it at one point. If someone knows better than me, tell me. I'm not really prestigious on this, because this is like the legal side of this is what fucking blowing my mind. But where's it at?
So if I show this, I just grabbed this graphic randomly off the internet, like Google D&D graphics, and this is like the best one that kind of fit. So let's just say that we made millions of dollars a year. They want 25% of just me showing this because we provide content.
Another thing too about it is I don't know if you know about like the Twitch aspect of things.
No,
D&D is huge on Twitch. Like, there's a bunch of channels that have multiple, maybe thousands, maybe I don't know about millions, but thousands of people that chime in to watch celebrities
Just sit there and I would pay money to see Ryan Reynolds play a game of D&D.
I what's his name? What's his name? Post Malone did one. It was
that would be funny too.
Lots of people were in it, though. That's the thing, and like the content creator, I can't remember the actual name of the Twitch channel. I'm sorry,
but they could countersue going, "I'm bringing my celebrity to promote your crap, so you owe me money."
Well. The thing about it is now on Twitch. Not only does Twitch get their cut, because I don't know what the cut on Twitch is. It's something crazy. So after your Twitch takes your cut, now Wizards of the Coast wants their cut off of it. Huh? That's how crazy or
Wolfie
pretty much is just.
Wolfie says, when everything has been, let me make sure I read this right. When everything has been thought of, your every thought is owned by someone else. You know, a long time ago, the patent office, the copyright office of the United States government says, we're going to close down because everything that could be invented has been invented, and they closed down.
But in response to all this, around they say 66,000 is what I got from, I think it was Gizmod said, Dungeons & Dragons signed a letter under the hashtag OpenDND before an anticipated announcement. Many also canceled their subscriptions to D&D Beyond. And a funny part about D&D Beyond is that it was originally a third-party software that was developed under this OGL1 that would have never existed under 1.1.
What does that mean?
It means someone creatively created this idea on an online way to play Dungeons and Dragons. Wizards of the Coast. Wizards of the Coast picked it up and says, "Oh yeah, we'll buy it from you." But it would have never existed if 1.1 existed, because they would have never been able to create it through Kickstarter and all this other stuff.
Yeah, because ideas breed more ideas and breed more ideas. Yeah. But oh my gosh, Christopher Walken playing D&D, I would pay money for that.
I would. I mean, D&D is fun to watch. But like other people play it.
It's so funny.
I played it a couple times. I've only played it a couple times in my life. It's fun. It's a fun game. I mean, I wasn't really big into it. This is more of a pop culture warrior thing in my eyes. But in my eyes,
you think CQ's been played D&D? He's
definitely played D&D. He's definitely played. I guarantee you, he's played D&D at one point. But I looked at this more as like a legal battle kind of standpoint, kind of like intellectual property kind of shit. Like you give me this would be like Facebook saying like, hey, everything that you've ever said, like you're allowed to post this and da 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 da, and all of a sudden they change their terms of service. You have no choice over it.
Let's put this in right now terms. So my name is Koz, and this is Pooky, and we do a show one night a week on WTF Nation Radio in partnership with U.S. Army WTF Moments. This is Friday Night Freedom. Let's say just, we all of a sudden just like monetized everything and started making money off of this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Facebook can say, hey, congratulations, you've been very successful. We're gonna
they already do this, though.
They do, because if you monetize your channel, then they do take a cut. It's a small cut, but it's still it's kind of a big cut. But they would like want to step in and take more. Like, hey, we love that you have a gaming channel on Twitch, or and then you co-broadcast on Twitter and all the other platforms that we do.
Want to cut off all. We want to cut off all. Yeah.
YouTubers are going to be, so there's a YouTuber, let's say that there's a YouTuber that plays nothing but the most badass Van Halen music and just does tutorials on Van Halen music. Mm-hmm. So YouTube can come back and go, hey, you've been very successful at this, and we want more. Is that maybe Van Halen comes back and we want a bigger cut.
This is pretty much the gist of this on the legal side of it. This is why, like, the internet lost their mind. Like, I don't know, you just go on Twitter if you get a chance to later, or any of y'all, and just type in OGL and just read some of the insanities. And like, these arguments make sense. But like I said, there was 2 publishing companies that came out and they're like, screw your OGL, we're creating another one that's completely open source, completely, it's a great concept. What's the name? Let me see here. There's 5 of them. Core rule book,
but it's still going to be based on the
Pathfinder.
original. It's still going to be. It might be like an original thing, something completely separate, but it's going to be based on the original idea. And I think that's where they're going at, right?
Well, I mean,
am I misreading that?
A lot. Well, no. Think about it like that. Paizo. I can't pronounce
Paizo,
the name. I
yeah.
might be pronouncing. Yeah, but they're like a branch. But most of the people that run it were parts of Wizards of the Coast. Their lawyers used to be lawyers from Wizards of the Coast. So it's like you said, a divorce kind of happening.
Yeah.
But I don't know, this whole thing, like the more I read into it, the more crazier it gets, because it's like the legality behind this. This is like something like the freaking Supreme Court would probably have to sit down over top of at one point. Like it could get that bad, because if you know, they say, okay, this is good for Wizards of the Coast to do this, then every company on the face of the earth could do the same thing. Like Netflix could be like, oh well, you watch, you spend money on
we were
HBO
the original
Max.
We were the original streaming platform, so now Hulu owes Netflix money.
Yeah, it's just it's crazy at that point. But earlier, like probably about 2 hours before we started the show, Wizards of the Coast pretty much came out and acknowledged that it's clear from the reaction of the internet that we rolled the 1. And I don't know if you know what that means or anything
Is
like
that
that.
bad?
We're rolling a 1.
Is that bad?
Yeah, that's a failure.
We rolled a 1.
Yeah, they admitted it, and they halted, quote unquote, halted any further actions on this, because you know the internet blew up and started bringing its, you know. But
you don't want to piss off nerds, dude. You really don't, because they're pretty damn good at banding together and shutting shit off with social, canceling, and man. And that's not a bad thing. They're just really good. They have really good communities. So.
I mean, the D&D community, I love them. They're the most accepting community on the face of the planet. But I mean, this is not the first time Wizards of the Coast played some shenanigans. October, they pulled some shenanigans.
There's been
they
more.
Released a they released a 30th anniversary edition of Magic the Gathering. I don't know if you know about Magic. It's a card game.
No,
Trading card game.
You're totally into this, and I am such a virgin when it comes to D&D, Magic the Gathering. It sounds really interesting and fun and cool and awesome. I just know absolutely nothing about it.
Magic the Gathering is this read the card game, you play whatever, but they released a 30th edition, 15 times 4. You do the math on that. I can't do it, but for 15 times 4 cards,
60?
they were charging 60 cards. They were charging $999, and you couldn't even play them legally in a tournament.
This is a piece of paper that has stuff and things on it, and it looks really awesome. I've seen these cards, and they're awesome.
60 cards that are no bigger than a credit card.
Yeah.
You're paying $1,000 for, and you can't even legally play them in a tournament. You can't.
I've got a beer coaster.
I've
got a beer coaster here. You can see it here, right here. It's gray. It's awesome, and it has some things on the back. I'm going to sell that for $100. Who's buying? It does nothing.
That's.
But it's the same thing as like. But it's the same thing as like an NFT or crypto. It's just something that people are interested in that has been assigned a value, and then people say, I want that, and then it increases in value because supply and demand, because that's what capitalism is.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
sorry if I'm going. I'm kind of going off the rails here.
No. You're exactly on the point. Like Wizards of the Coast owns a printing machine, pretty much a money printing machine, and I think one of their guys got caught up. Because if you write the words right on the card, it can break the entire game. They could be the most valuable card on the face of the planet. And that happened once, and he printed off a bunch for himself and held them off to the side, knowing that they were going to be worth $60, $70 a pop. And then tried to sell them, and he got hit up with, I think he actually got charged with insider trading at that point.
Gosh. Musa Ozwani says, what is Magic the Gathering?
It is a trading card game, and actually, me saying trading card game, I could get charged by Wizards of the Coast because they have that trademark.
Really? It's like saying Super Bowl or Superb Owl.
Yeah. I think it was Pokemon card game. Remember the old Pokemon card game? Tried to do trading card game, and I think Wizards of the Coast might have actually like sued them at one point over that.
Man,
or it might have been
for
like,
words, just for words.
Yes.
For language, saying words and things.
Wizards of the Coast is a sister company of Hasbro, and Hasbro is hurting so bad right now. Like I said earlier, when I started this, is Wizards of the Coast cut 5 video game productions because they were 40% over the year. Their stocks have been down.
Mm-hmm.
So now they're trying to milk whatever the hell they can for the extra money to make it up for the bottom line. So it is, these corporations are just crazy.
They're looking to, they're not making the revenue, they're looking to pay the bills, and this is a source of revenue that they might see. I think it would cost them more in lawyer fees than a revenue stream if people just acquiesced.
People are stepping up to fight it. I know, like a couple content creators, small content creators, are like with that Kobold Press and was it Pazio, whatever it is. They're getting together and forming.
Good.
They're combining all the resources to fight this shit, and I am 100% behind it because, I mean, I love Magic the Gathering. I've been collecting it since it began, and it's one of my favorite things. But as of recently, it seems like since Hasbro has acquired them, they have just been printing cards nonstop just to make money, and they're destroying the game, and it pisses me.
They're diluting everything. They're diluting the pool.
Well, they're diluting my value of shit I've been collecting since 1996.
So you can go back and sue them, going, dude.
It's just getting crazy at this point. But you talk to any nerd and you mention the OGL, you will have a good conversation for probably about 50 freaking minutes right now.
We just had a great conversation for about 50 freaking minutes right now. This is awesome. But it is about time to end the show. Really? This is pretty cool. I really thought that we were going to be like content free because we didn't have our guest tonight, which is awesome because he's taking care of his family and everything is awesome for him. He's going to be back. So, man, I guess it's time to maybe sign off here. What time is it? Oh, yeah.
8 past.
Yeah, we're good.
8 past. Yeah.
So, can you wrap this up? What is the word? Tie a bow around this. How would you finalize this last segment with the
Magic Gathering, Dungeons and Dragons and stuff, like nerd stuff, like that. I see exactly. This is exactly what happened with Windows and Linux back in the day. I don't know if you know Linux.
Yeah, that's a really good correlation.
It's because I know there was a big legal battle with Windows, I guess, with the GUIs of Linux, like the gnomes and
by GUI you mean like graphics user interface.
Yeah, so because it resembled Windows so much. Yeah, I think GNOME resembled Windows too much, and Microsoft tried to sue. And Linux is, if you produce it on Linux, I mean, you could sell your own proprietary shit on Linux. But if you use someone else's crap, you can't charge for that, right? So
you can charge for your stuff, but not for anybody else's stuff.
It's like the difference between OBS and Streamlabs OBS. There's pay-to-play crap on Streamlab OBS, but OBS is completely open source, and I can do whatever I want inside the program.
Elizabeth came back. She says, "I left and I came back, and now Koz is in the small bubble." It's because this is Pooky's segment. He's talking about Pooky things that I have no business even mentioning, and he's doing a fantastic.
Probably more of a. I don't even know if this would really be like a CQ thing because it's just like legal.
I don't know if he could talk about it. He could talk about the game.
I mean, I know a lot of nerds are mad about it. Like I said, our last show, I normally get off the show and I jump on my Discord. I have a bunch of my Army friends, and my buddy was losing his mind about this shit. And I was like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" And he explained it to me, and so I I did the research on it, and I was like, "Holy shit, this is crazy! This is legitimate crazy! Like, you can steal my shit. I agreed to it because I made it on the prior agreement, and now the new agreement comes out. I have no ends, ifs, or buts about it. It's theirs now at that point
Because according to that agreement, it trumps the other agreement. So
it's a one-way contract. It's the best way to explain it.
I don't like those. There's got to be something for me in it.
So
the older I get, I do read the fine print.
Well, I mean, the original license was only 900 words, easy to read. The new one that they proposed was over 9,000.
Well, it's like the IRS code. It started out small, and now it's like 100,000 pages.
Oh yeah. I'll just keep building up. Just keep talking. I love it.
Taxation is dead.
Doing Pooky things. I'm doing Pooky things.
All right, man. I think we're gonna get out of here, man.
Oh yeah.
Bladder's calling, so I guess we're gonna get out. But we do have shows 6 nights a week now, dude. Did you catch any of the sports bar or
Arnouche? I caught all of the sports bar, and I missed half of the smoke pit because of the FAA.
Sports bar was awesome. The sports bar was
King did a phenomenal job. King's up there with it. Great job, King.
I am a sports guy, but I choose what I'm interested in. I do like sports. I do like watching football. I choose not to, just because if I've got time to sit down and watch a movie or watch football, I've got time to do other things that need to be done. King made it very, very interesting, and I really appreciated his show, and that was awesome. And then we got to the smoke pit
Wednesday.
I was really happy with the smoke pit because that kind of I don't want to say a dumbed down version of Sergeant's Time. It was like the result of
I'm sure he's gonna like that.
No, the smoke pit was it's like a result of Army policies. Army policies result in shows like the smoke pit because the people that make the military work, I'm not talking about the Army, I'm talking about military wide, is the younger service members.
The smoke pit.
The guy sitting in the smoke pit bitching about life. And this is really going to be a great show because TZ and Radar just knocked it out of the park. I was there for the entire time, and it was spectacular. I can't wait to see more shows. So we have new shows right now. We have 6 nights a week. Monday's a Monday edition. Tuesday's Pop Culture Warrior. Wednesday is the Smoke Pit. Thursday is Sergeant's Time, and Friday is Friday Night Freedom. Saturday is a Donza day because Spanky likes it when I say that. And Sunday is a sports bar. And I think this is a really great time for the sports bar to come out because we're into playoff season for football. And we're going to be having a lot of back and forth about who's the best, about, who are the Cowboys going to beat next, right? Gosh, they've been disappointing for the last couple of weeks. But hey,
no, my team just sucks now.
Who's your team?
I'm a Steelers fan, and they have just sucked the last couple years. I will come out there and call the Steelers out. You guys need to fix your shit.
Okay. Wolfie says, "Are there any other internet bars open after this?" I really don't know, brother.
Go on Twitter. They got a whole bunch of spaces now open that you can listen to.
Oh yeah, cool. I'm gonna get back on Twitter. I think I've made up my mind. I just have to. I have to do the work.
Get on Twitter. Gotta get on Twitter, my man. Gotta get on Twitter.
And then you're gonna have to send me. And then you're gonna send me links to people who you follow, and I'll get with Ice and who do you follow? Okay, I'm back normal.
Yeah. You'll be all right. I think if your account was banned over some stupid shit, you probably still have an account now. You don't even realize it. So
I'm gonna try to remember what my password may have been.
Forgot your password. Get it back, man.
Yeah. All right, everybody. So hang out. You guys know what the lineup is. We're here 6 nights a week. The only day you have off is Saturday. All the other days, you're going to be here on WTF Nation Radio. Pooky, do you have any parting comments for our lovely audience?
Oh, like I always say, don't drink drive, don't beat your spouse, don't kick your dog, taxation's theft, and don't fly American Airlines. Simple as that.
All right, everybody, we are out of here. Thank you all very much for showing up and hanging out. And this has been fun. This has been a really good show. I really didn't think we were going to last 2 hours, and now look at us. Look at us. We're way over 2 hours. I think we are owed a little bit of overtime. I have to get with Mom and make sure our payroll department compensates us. Tacos. You can pay me in tacos. You can pay me in tacos. That's awesome. All right, everybody, take care of yourself, and we love you. Bye.
This is WTF Nation Radio.
My friend came to the door. She said, well, I was on the phone cooking me and my baby some breakfast. And she said, hey, something wrong. It's popping. I said, what? She said, yeah. I said, no. So the girl come downstairs. She come out her apartment with her baby with no shoes on. I said, oh, girl, it's cold outside. She said, something ain't right. I said, oh, man. She said, oh, man, the building is on fire. I said, no, what? I got my 3 kids and we bounced out. We ain't gonna be in no fire, not today.
The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio. This is WTF Nation Radio.